Well, hello and welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Age Origins I'm Gonna Die Edition. I'm your host, Yeoman Hero, and today we're heading to camp. Afterwards, we'll be heading back to,
The Blight. How will you end it?
we have to fight the
Is
Archdemon.
that all? It is surrounded by an ocean of darkspawn. How will you reach it? If you reach it, how will you slay it? You say you are a Grey Warden. I have heard stories of this order.
What have you heard?
Great strategists and peerless warriors. That is what we hear of the Wardens. So far, I am not impressed.
Not here to impress you.
Evidently not. It remains only to see what you are here for.
Well, that's nice to know, Sten. That's nice to know. Hey, Prince
I
Fluffernutter.
once heard a really old legend about how the Hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
If you've had it and didn't know it, it was probably tasty.
Oh, it's been a long day. Rest would be welcome.
I'm starting to slow down a little, are we?
I'm just feeling a little weary is all. As you may have noticed, I'm no spring chicken.
No, you're a person.
Very funny. But in all honesty, I do not know how many years I have left in me. I have lived for such a long time, but there is always something else to do. And I have to keep going in order to do it. I think I will be glad when I am done.
You're not allowed to be done quite yet.
Oh, no. I'm not the sort of person that leaves things unfinished. I'll see this through, I promise.
Well, no, up in... for any of that. Anyway, Liliana.
Yes.
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What would someone like you be doing in Lothering's Chantry?
What is meant by someone like me?
You know, a beautiful, charming woman like you saw. I'm not entirely sure. Decision-making time. You see, as you've all, if you've actually been watching through these videos, you probably noticed by now that Hector does not like dealing with giant spiders, mostly because he has an aversion to anything with more than 4 limbs. Legs, arms, you know. So, anything insect-like, he's not a fan of. That being said, Morrigan, who is the other romance option that would be open during this playthrough, she is actually not on the list of characters that I think would make it, mostly because she can actually transform into a giant spider, thus that's not exactly going to work. I don't think he would be comfortable with someone who transforms into something he has an aversion to. So, the only other option would be Liliana. That being said, I'm not entirely sure whether or not he'd be totally fine with someone who's this zealous for their beliefs. See, I don't know. This is something I'd have to ask about. That being said, I don't think he would go with the third option. He's not rude towards people. I'm a Christian myself, and he hasn't really ever said anything like sanctimonious, preachy, like all other Chantry zealots, or something along those lines. So I don't think that third option would be a good idea. That first option... First, second, and fourth options are the ones that I'm looking at. I'm just not 100% sure whether or not I should even, like, bring up the whole idea of going for the romance subplot in this game. I'm not sure. I just don't know exactly... That being said, though, I do think that the possibility of him for... I'm not sure. So, comes down to the choice. I don't know. I don't think he would go for the first one. I think he would be more like... she actually basically was like, hey, what do you mean by someone like me? And I think he would be a little bit more open with... like, more likely to explain what he means by that. So, there's that. So I think 1 is out of the question. 3 is out of the question. So 2 and 4. 2 and 4. I'm gonna go with 2. I'm gonna go with 2. You know, a beautiful, charming woman like yourself. Wait a minute. The only issue with that is that, to be honest, I don't think he knows a lot about the Chantry. I don't know. This is taking much too long. I'm gonna go with it. And most likely not gonna do much. I feel like he might be... He's trying to open up more serious conversation, but at the same time, Hector's not a super serious person all the time. Like, he'll talk to you about some serious stuff, but then shortly afterwards, he likes to start talking about something a little more lighthearted, or open up with something a little less... I don't know, I don't think you could say doom and gloom, but you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, a beautiful, charming woman like yourself.
And there were no beautiful, charming women in the cloisters, you think? You would be wrong. There were many lovely young initiates in the Lothering cloister, all of them chaste and virtuous. It added to their mystique, because then they were forbidden, and forbidden fruit is the sweeter, no?
So, can we go back to the Lothering now?
You would abandon your Grey Warden duties to seduce an initiate into forgetting Chantry and Maker?
Yeah, I might. It depends on the initiate.
There are certainly many to choose from. I was never one of them, though. I was only affirmed. The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
So your skills were learned before your time in the Chantry.
I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
Okay, so she approves. That's interesting. +3. In the cloister, away from the fuss and flurry of the cities, I found peace, and in that stillness I could hear the Maker. A lay sister of the Chantry who can beat the stuffing out of trained mercenaries would be notable enough, but one who also claims to have been sent to fight the Darkspawn by the Maker himself is unusual, to say the least. She joined Alistair and Hector in Lothering, insisting that she would prove useful. There's more to Liliana than had even been apparent at Lothering, however. She spent much of her life as a bard in Orlais, a minstrel. Ooh, spoilers! This is something our character does not know yet. Minstrel, assassin, and spy employed by the nobles of Val Royeaux in their elaborate games of intrigue. Yeah, I figure that would be something that would leave out of the journal entries at this point. Seeing as how I've played through the game before, that's not a spoiler for me. I've seen all that stuff. I've gotten to the point where I know about all that, so...
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Oh, what can a Templar do exactly?
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
So, Templars use magic themselves.
You could call it that, sure. The Chantry doesn't look on it the same way, however, since really our talents only work on mages. Against a regular person, I'm just a guy in a metal suit.
And so, couldn't others learn these talents? I wish there was a line here that allowed your character to say, these people are really hypocritical at that point, because I would go with that. That being said, though, yeah, it seems like the Templars could run the Chantry.
You'd think that, but it's not so. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted.
Plot.
And
She
since the
thickens.
Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. Anyway. So you were addicted to this lyrium?
Thankfully, no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templar's talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Hi, Sten.
Yes.
What were you doing in that cage?
Sitting, as you observed.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Fine, let's drop this for now.
Parshera, was there anything else?
Let's go.
As you wish.
Sten approves, +7. Wow, nice.
Yes?
What? So life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
So you could have been a hippie. And did they speak back?
Don't be foolish. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
I can't imagine. What happened then?
Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
But you were just a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
But you don't need to live that way any longer.
Do I not? I am still an apostate mage, even if I have left the wilds. The Darkspawn are yet undefeated. No, there is much that remains. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
She approves +1.